Okay, we're going to start lying on our backs in Shavasana. Settling into your body. Notice how you're responding to gravity. Notice where your body makes contact with the floor. And notice your overall sense of prana. We could say life force or energy. Notice your mood, how you feel energetically in this moment. And notice your breath, the natural, spontaneous breath before you start to alter it. So there can be this real sense of letting go, letting be, really of kind of emptying out, this emptying before we begin. Letting the body settle, letting the breath find its natural flow, and inviting the mind to just be in this moment, one moment at a time. We're often so distracted, so busy, that slowing down or stopping can feel like a lot of work, can feel difficult. Just noticing if that's part of your experience, noticing with kind attention, and coming back to the present moment, to the body, to the breath, over and over and over again. Keeping the breath in the foreground of awareness, let's begin our movement inquiry by planting both feet pretty wide apart, like wider than hip width. And you can take your arms out to a T, keeping the shoulders rooted on the ground. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. Letting the outer leg drop down all the way. Sometimes we don't even realize we're holding it up. Just let it drop down. And then adding a little more of intentional action to what I would call the inner leg. So as you rock to the inner edge of the foot, push the inner edge of the foot into the floor. And kind of reach through that knee. Reach the knee away from you. Really, the pushing the inner edge of the foot into the floor helps to create that driving of the knee forward or out away from you. And then adding one more element, engaging the glute muscle. So you rock to the inner edge of the foot, reach through the knee, and squeeze the buttock. Let's actually add one more element here. Simple rotation of the head opposite the direction the legs are going. You could also actively root through the shoulder that the legs are moving opposite. That's not too much to be coordinating. Go slow. There's no hurry here. And then gradually coming back to center, bring the knees in toward the chest. Let's leave the arms on the floor and draw circles with the knees. Maybe the circles are small to start, and then as you kind of test the water, you can spiral larger. Switch directions. Gradually spiraling back to center. Knees are in toward the chest, arms are out to a T. Palms can be up or down. Down might give you a little more sense of grounding. We really want to squeeze the knees together here. So if that's difficult or you find that they separate as we come into this next twist, you could put a block between the inner thighs. Okay, so we're only going as far into the twist as we can, still keeping the shoulders down on the ground. So you might not go very far. That's okay. It's not about getting the legs all the way down to the ground. It's about working with the spinal rotation. So if the shoulder lifts and the hips are moving, then there's not as much rotation happening. Yeah. So really seal the shoulders down and just work within this range of motion, whatever it is for you. You could do the movement on the exhale, come into the twist on the exhale. And then let's add a little bit more of a kind of tucking knees to the chest, almost like you're bringing your knees up toward your elbow or even up toward your shoulder. So tighter hugging in as you twist side to side. Let's awaken the feet here. Maybe they were not participating. So just a little spreading of the toes, little flexing of the feet. So they're wakeful. Let's go about one more time each side. And then after your second side, whenever that is for you, coming back to center, placing your feet on the ground further away than your knees. So not stacking feet under knees, bringing the feet further away. I'm going to work with what we call this triangle table. So the pubic bone and your two frontal hip points all on the same plane. So you can use your hands, fingertips on the pubic bone and like the heels of your hands on the ASIS or these bony hip points in the front. And we want them level, so like a flat table. So normally, or very often, the pubic bone will be tipped up. We don't want that. Sometimes moving the feet a little further away from you will help to create that. So as a result, you're likely to have a little space between the lower back and the floor. Okay, so we're going to try to maintain this and drop on the pelvic floor. So Moola Bandha is like an inward and upward action. And then if you've got a block handy, we're going to place the block between the inner thighs on the narrow setting. If you had to adjust your posture in order to place that, then just connect again with that triangle table. And then we're going to engage the abdominal. So the whole abdominal wall going down toward the floor, not just the navel, above the navel, below the navel, to the right and the left of the navel. So we're drawing up in the pelvic floor, You're gonna have to breathe more into the side and the back body to hold this abdominal action. And then we're squeezing the block here. Okay, from here, we're gonna interlace the hands behind the head. So the hands are at the base of the skull and curl up. Squeeze the elbows together and just pause here. Squeeze the block. Just reconfirm, drawing up on the pelvic floor, Moola Bandha. The abdominal wall is engaged. See if you can come up a little bit more. So we're working on peeling the shoulder blades up off the ground. And then don't change the pelvis, just lower the upper body back down for a moment. Keep the triangle table and bring the knees up over the hips. Okay, so the pubic bone and those two frontal hip points are still all level. We haven't tilted the pelvis at all. Squeeze the block, Moola Bandha, abdominal wall engaged, curling up. Try to peel the shoulder blades up off the ground, squeeze the elbows toward each other, and then just kind of remember, recall, reaffirm, squeezing the block, Moola Bandha, abdominal wall, maybe coming up a little bit more. Feet can be a little bit active. And then lower your feet back down and lower your head back down and remove the block. Bring the knees back into the chest. Squeeze the knees together, flex the feet a little bit, and then offset the legs over to the left. Stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. Flex your wrists, so as if you could paste your hands or plant your hands onto the ceiling. Try to spread the fingers, and then we're gonna curl up and see if you can bring your left arm, to your outer right leg. It'll probably be like the knee. You can, head can be up here. Press the arm and the leg into each other. Keep squeezing the knees in over toward the left. And then lower the head down, lower the arms down, bring the legs back to center. Take a breath. Knees are in toward the chest. Offset the knees to the right a little bit, so that left hip will probably come up off the ground. Keep squeezing the legs together. Stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. Spread the fingers. Imagine the hands are on the ceiling. You could stay right here, or if it's available, we're lifting the shoulder blades and the head up. This right arm is working to connect to the outer left leg, probably up by the knee, especially this early in the game. Press the legs into each other, squeezing, and arm and leg into each other. Lower the head down, the arms, the legs. Let's stretch the legs out into Shavasana. Feel your breath, especially in your back body. So the back of the rib cage and the sides of the torso. Okay, one more time, we're gonna grab the block, or one more time here on the floor. Plant your feet. Find that same triangle table, so pubic bone not tipped up. There's a little gap between the lower spine and the floor. Bring the knees up over the hips. Squeeze the block, probably narrow setting between the thighs. That's it. Flex the feet. Can just kind of check in with your ribs if they're really flaring up. See if you can lengthen your spine a little up toward your head without disturbing your pelvis. I often leave my hands like at the ready to monitor what's happening in this pelvic area so that there's no change. Squeeze the block and stretch the legs straight. Now bringing the legs straight up to vertical might end up changing the orientation of the pelvis, so they don't have to be straight up to vertical. We prioritize, in this moment anyway, this neutral pelvis, and then maybe the legs can come in a little bit more. Squeezing the block. Moola Bandha, drawing up on the pelvic floor. You can try drawing the whole abdominal wall back down toward the ground. Not that we're flattening the back, it's more of just a drawing in the front of the abdominals inward. And then maybe lowering the legs a little bit without changing the pelvis, keeping that engagement in your core. Pausing. Wherever you are, squeeze the block. Maybe interlacing hands behind the head. Squeeze the elbows together here, peeling the shoulder blades up off the ground. Nothing's changed in the pelvis. Lots and lots of core engagement. Lowering the head. You can bring the legs back up, feet down, take the block out, roll to your side, and come on up to sit. We're going to sit with the feet planted, preparing for Navasana, boat pose. Let's actually grab the block again. So place block between inner thighs or knees, probably narrow setting. Yeah, and then we'll take hold of the backs of the thighs. We're really lifting the chest here. And then tipping back, squeeze the block, feet leave the ground. We want to keep this hip flexion here. So we want to keep drawing the legs in toward the trunk and sitting up tall. Maybe shins parallel to the floor, maybe arms stretching forward. Release the feet back down to the ground. Remove the block. And let's come to all fours. Okay, we're gonna flip the hands. Let's flip the hands so fingers point towards you and palms are up. You can do both at the same time. Applying a little bit of downward pressure, enough to create some sensation through the wrists, through the forearms. Make sure hands are shoulder width apart, or they could be wider. We don't want them narrower, we want that nice space through the chest. So as I'm pressing down through the backs of the hands, there's also this sense that I'm drawing up through my forearms, little equal and opposite kind of energy, equal and opposite direction. Okay, and then unflip your hands. If you're working with a block, grab the block again. It's going to go on the low wide setting, coming down onto the forearms. We're wrapping the fingers around the far edge of the block and walking the knees back. So we're getting ready for forearm plank, but you don't have to go all the way to get something out of it. So what's important here is pressing the elbows into the floor. So there's this lifting action, this protraction between the shoulder blades. You could apply a little bit of pressure of the hands into the block just so that they're active. Draw up on the pelvic floor, engage your glutes, and then option to tuck the toes under and extend through the legs. So the back of the skull is in line with the back of the sacrum. Avoid dropping your head here. Gaze is down. Energy through the heels. Lower the knees down to the ground, coming back up onto the hands. Spreading the fingers, tuck toes under, downward facing dog. Prioritizing length of the spine over heels on the ground might mean bending the knees. From here, keep your hips level as you slowly and intentionally bring your right leg up and back into three-legged dog. This is too much. You can be on all fours and stretching the leg back. Hips are still staying level. We're holding here, reaching through the leg. Push the floor away with your hands and have this dialing outward kind of action with your hands. Like you could screw your hands into the ground. The right hand screws to the right, the left hand screws to the left. Lower the right foot down and lift the left leg up. Hips stay level. Try not to just swing momentum wise the leg up, slowly raising it intentionally. Push the floor away, dialing the hands outward, energetically reaching through the leg. Lower the foot back down, and let's lower the knees back down. And this time we'll try dialing the hands so the fingers point toward you. You might not get all the way, just get where you can. Palms down, spread through the fingers. Hands are shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. And maybe leaning back a little bit. So you can tuck the toes under and shift the hips back. That will increase the sensation. And again, as I'm pressing the hands down, there's also this kind of drawing upward action that you can experiment with, up through the arms into the shoulders. Rooting evenly through each finger. I'm slowly shifting forward again. If you shifted back, flip the hands to their normal setting. Okay, and then this next one is an isolation of the shoulder blades that you can either do in all fours, or if you want to challenge, more of a challenge, you can do it in plank. Okay, so this isn't cat-cow, it's just protraction and retraction. You let the shoulder blades move toward the spine, the heart releases down toward the ground, and then spread the shoulder blades away from each other. Okay, try that a few times on your own. Pelvis isn't moving, the head's not moving, everything is moving a little bit, but only because it's going along for the ride, but it's really just about the shoulder blades. Couple more times. And then the next time you protract, soften just a little bit, so just a tiny bit of retraction. And then from here, returning to downward facing dog, and then push the floor away. So we're not really retracting anymore. Pushing the floor away, dialing the hands outward, rooting evenly through each finger. From here, walk your feet up toward your hands, take your time. Separate your feet hips width apart. Padahastasana, hands under feet. So we're doing a lot of wrist mobility here in preparation for the arm balance. You could bend your knees. That might be a good idea here. Push the feet down. You can either push the hands down or work in opposition. Feet push down, hands lift up. Head can be heavy here. Release your hands out from underneath your feet. And let's bend the knees and rise all the way up, maybe sweeping the arms up. And then bringing hands, palms together at heart center. Coming to the top of your mat if you are not already there. Let's stretch the arms forward and really reach the arms forward. And then bend your knees, Utkatasana. Arms can reach up alongside the ears if that works for your shoulders. Take a breath in here. Exhale, knees can stay bent as you fold forward. Stepping back to plank pose. Find that long line of energy, dialing the hands outward, and then without disturbing the hips, just lift one leg off the ground, and then alternate. So it's like a little march here, but if you were to have a block on your sacrum, the hips wouldn't be moving wonky side to side. Maybe one more time each leg. And then rising up through the lower belly to downward facing dog. Hips stay level, intentionally, slowly bringing the right leg up and back to three-legged dog. As you shift forward, coming to plank here with the knee moving in toward the nose. And then placing the right leg down for pigeon. Lowering the left leg down, walking the left leg back. If you feel like this isn't safe or doesn't work for you, you can rock over to your right hip and even bend the back knee a bit more. If it works for you to be level in the hips, please go for that. Actively pressing either the top of the back foot or the toes tucked under, and then maybe coming down onto the forearms. Let's not drop the head here. So head pretty much in line, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Chest moving forward. Slow, steady breaths. Couple more breaths here. And then we're going to add maybe a twist or maybe a little bit of a side bending variation. So if the right foot is up relatively, then the twist will be more accessible. If it's not, you can try to get it up there, but don't force it up there. So if the right leg is in front for all of us, hopefully, and we're going to bring the right elbow maybe to the left sole of the left foot. But if the foot is way back toward your hip, that won't work. Right, we don't want to crunch back here. So you can bring the elbow to the ground, join the hands in prayer, and we keep bringing the left hip down as we rotate, twisting to the left. If that's just too awkward, too pretzel-y, not working for your body, make it more of a side stretch off to the left. Drawing the shoulder blades down the back if you have this twisting variation going on. And whatever is on the ground is pressing into the ground. So especially this right leg, right shin from the knee all the way down to the foot is pressing down. Take your time here, unfurling out of your twist or out of your side bend, planting your hands and stepping back to downward facing dog. Slowly, intentionally, without disturbing the hips, bring the left leg up and back to three-legged dog. Push, push, push the floor away. And then as you come forward to plank, bring the knee in toward the nose. You'll have more clearance for the leg if your hips go high, high, high. And then we place the left leg down to come toward our pigeon shape. So if you can keep hips level, do so. But if you're experiencing pinchiness or pain or scary sensations, we drop more to the left hip and you can allow this right knee to bend more. Maybe coming down onto the forearms. Keeping the head in line with the rest of the spine. Chest extending forward, so chest is lifted. It's almost like we're like lifting up out of the shoulders. Pressing the legs down. Breath is in the foreground. Working in toward a twist or a side bend. So lengthening the front spine. If the foot is relatively up, you can bring your left elbow to the sole of the foot. If the foot's way down, don't crunch yourself to get that connection. The elbow can go in line with the shoulder, hands in prayer. We're trying to bring this right hip down and rotate the heart gently up. If that's not for you, you can take it more into a side bend off to the right. Shoulders down the back in the twist. Gradually rising up, take your time. Stepping back into downward facing dog. You can always come into child's pose instead, or tabletop. And then let's walk the feet up toward the hands. And separate the feet, hips width apart. Feel free to bend the knees here. And this time we'll place the hands under the feet with the palms down and the thumbs out. You can let your head go here. Feet press down, hands can pull up or press down. Maybe experiment with both, see what gives you the nice sensation that you might be seeking. Remove your hands out from underneath your feet. And then let's rise up, maybe circle sweep the arms all the way up. Hands joining at heart center. Inhaling to chair, sweep the arms forward. Reach as they go up alongside the ears. Exhaling, knees can stay bent as you fold forward. Inhale, stretch your heart forward a little bit more. That's it. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. And this time we'll lower all the way down. Elbows drop back as you lower down onto your belly, forward locust. Let's keep the toes tucked under, arms alongside the body. Press the pubic bone into the ground and then lift up. And that doesn't have to be a lot. So chest reaches forward, arms can gently reach back. Gaze is down. Energy through the heels and squeeze the glutes for sure. Plant your hands beneath your shoulders. Push up to plank. And then from the belly, lift up, downward facing dog. Slowly and intentionally, hips stay level, right leg reaching up and back, three-legged dog. Shifting forward, Tucking the knee in, hips are high, right foot plants between the hands. Let's keep the left hand down and almost kind of like lean into the left hand. You can offset it a little bit more to the left. So hips are staying level here. And then we're rotating through the ribs and maybe stretching up through the arms. So what I see a lot is this left hip dropping, and let's not do that. So hips stay level here. If I were to put a block on the sacrum, hopefully, it would stay there because the twist is coming from the spine. Lots of energy through that back leg. Unwind your spine. Step back to plank pose. Knees can come down first if you want. Keep drawing elbows back as you lower all the way down onto your belly. Keep the toes tucked under. Arms reach back behind you for a locust. So really press the pubic bone into the floor. Squeeze your butt. Lift your chest. Shalabhasana. Hands plant beneath the shoulders. Keep drawing the elbows back, rising up to plank, lifting from the hips to downward facing dog. Intentionally reaching left leg up and back, hips stay level. So it's that pure movement from the leg, from the hip. Exhaling, knee in, hips up, bringing the foot between the hands. We're in this runner's lunge with weight in the right hand. You can offset it a little bit more to the right and almost like lean into it. And be mindful that you're not letting this right hip drop. Okay, so really, we're almost like lifting this right thigh and then opening to the twist. Back glute is active. Unwind your spine. Step back to plank pose. One more time, we're gonna lower all the way down. Keep moving the elbows back as you lower down. Knees can come down first. Locust, same shape here. Energy through the legs, root the pubic bone. Lift your chest. See if you can cultivate even sensation through the spine more than look how high I can get and all the sensation concentrated in the lower back. So maybe not coming up as much. Hands plant beneath the shoulders. Keep drawing the elbows back, rising up to plank. From the belly, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. Small little steps forward, feet toward the hands until you're in your standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Catch the wave of an inhalation to rise all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to heart center, Samanstuti. Utkatasana, hips go back and down. Back of the head is in line with the back of the sacrum. Your exhale, touch the floor, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank pose. Knees could come down first. Keep drawing the elbows back as you lower all the way down, this time for Cobra, Bhujangasana. So you could keep toes tucked or have feet pressing flat. The start is the same here. We root the pubic bone, the glutes are engaged. We're using the back to lift the chest. And then you can add a little bit of hands pressing in and dragging back, like the chest is moving up forward through the gate of the arms. Tuck toes under, from the lower belly, lift up, downward facing dog. Hips stay level, right leg up and back, three-legged dog, reaching as it rises. Exhale, shift forward, right foot plants between the hands. We're coming into revolved triangle. So you want this left foot down, step it in a little bit, maybe having a block handy, rising up. Hips are square here, so both hip points point directly forward. If you're already kind of unsteady, go more railroad track, less balance beam, so wider stance. Okay, let's keep the right hand on the hip and stretch the left arm up toward the ceiling. So we're elongating this left side, and as we fold forward, we bring the left side of the ribs forward, and the left hand could be inside or outside the right foot. Stop when the spine is parallel to the floor. We don't get more benefit out of being lower and having our hand on the floor instead of a block. It's actually harder to get a nice twist out of that. Okay, and then we keep twisting, but not from the hips. Twist comes from maintaining stability in the hips and rotating through the spine. So I should be able to leave a block on the sacrum, keep rotating to find the revolved triangle. Maybe that means the arm is more here or the hand is even on the hip. Try hugging your inner thighs toward each other. Unwind your spine. Step back to plank pose. Can always modify, skip these vinyasas if it's becoming too much. Knees can come down first. Keep moving your elbows back, back, back as you lower down. Cobra, Bhujangasana. Rooting the feet or toes tucked under. Lifting first from the strength of the back. And then the hands aren't just pressing down. There's this backwards drag kind of action without the hands moving. Glutes are definitely engaged here. That's going to keep the back safe. Lowering down a bit, toes tuck under, rising up, downward facing dog. With intention, slowly, left leg high to the sky, three-legged dog. Shifting forward, left foot plants between the hands. Parvita Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Smaller step with the right foot, or however big it needs to be to get the heel down. Rising up. Squaring the hips. You can keep the left hand down, reach the right arm up. Start to twist as you fold. So we bring this right side of the rib cage forward. Eventually the hand coming down, spine parallel to the floor. From this point, keep the hips stable. Rotation happens with the spine. So we're rotating through the spine. Might feel like ribs, that's cool. Maybe the left arm reaching up. Try hugging inner thighs toward each other. Really extending the chest forward. Unwind your spine. Step back to plank pose. Knees could come down right away. One more time, we're lowering down for cobra. Elbows back as you lower. Inhaling, Bhujangasana. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Take small little steps to bring the feet forward, up to the hands. If you've got your block handy, let's place it, actually just have, we'll get it in a second here. You can root and rise all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to heart center. If you've got your block, let's place it between the inner thighs or between the knees. I'd probably go narrow setting. Between the knees would be therapeutic for the knees. Between the inner thighs, a little bit more work for the adductors here. So we're coming into Utkatasana, revolve. So let's stretch up, up, up through left arm. And then as you bend your knees, hips go back and down, hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee. If it won't get there, you can hook it to the inside of the left knee. And then join the hands in prayer. Keep squeezing the block here. The hips aren't moving. We're rotating through the spine and lifting the chest. So try not to crank it. Try to let it be this kind of organic action. Adjust your feet as needed so you can get a good grip on the block. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Arm and leg press into each other. Hands press into each other. Bottom hand could be a fist if the wrists are getting cranky. Gaze can be down at the ground or out in front of you. Let's not look up today. Couple more breaths here. See if you can work the twist from deep within your belly and engage Moola Bandha, the root seal. Unwind your spine, leave the block where it is, rising up. Second side, stretch right arm up or whatever your second side is. Bending the knees, hips go back and down so the back of the head is in line with the back of the sacrum. Hooking the elbow to the outside of the left knee or to the inside of the right knee. Joining the hands in prayer. Bottom hand could be a fist. Keep squeezing the block. Try to keep the hips still and turn through your center. Shoulders down away from the ears. Twisting's happening from deep within your center. Draw up on the pelvic floor. Moola Bandha. Unwind your spine. You take the block out on your way up and leave it toward the top of your mat. And coming back to the top of your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Slow, steady breath. Inhaling, Utkatasana, reaching through the arms. Exhale, Uttanasana, folding forward, take your time. Inhale, lift a little bit, lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Maybe lower the knees down. We're isometrically dialing the hands outward. And then keep moving the elbows back. See if you can lower just halfway, whether the knees are up or down. Chaturanga, elbows are back, back, back. And then from here, bring your knees down and straighten your arms. Yeah. And then we're going to come into up dog, but let's not just like launch into it. Let's have a little bit of beginner's mind with it. Okay, so attention to the hands, screwing the hands into the ground. And then let's come into plank, just regular plank, so lifting the knees off the ground. From here, don't change anything other than untucking your feet. Untuck your toes, so you're on the tops of your feet in plank pose. Squeeze the glutes like crazy. And then just like in cobra, where we drag the hands back isometrically. Get that back dragging action and lift the chest. So it doesn't have to be this huge back bend. Tuck the toes under, lift from the belly, downward facing dog. Hips stay level, push the floor away, right leg, three-legged dog. Shift forward, place your right foot between your hands. You're coming into a revolved half moon pose. So let's use the block under the left hand. And I'm kind of like in this ready to launch, reaching forward. So when you come up onto your right leg, the left hand is stacked beneath the left shoulder. And I'm in basically warrior three. Hips are level. If I were to place a block on my sacrum, when I twist, it's not going to fall off, ideally. Okay? So you can hug your inner thighs toward each other a little bit. And stretch actively back through the leg. We're in this kind of supported warrior three. And then starting to twist to the right, through the spine, through the ribs, and then maybe eventually extending the arm. This left glute is definitely working. Unwind your spine. You can land your hands and stretch left foot back to land. I'm just going to turn around here. And then step back to plank pose. You could lower all the way for locust or cobra. Or from plank pose, I'm going to do chaturanga and then separate it from up dog. So elbows draw back. The chest is moving forward, lowering about halfway. Put the knees down. Straighten your arms. Re-extend your legs to plank. Dialing the hands outward. Untuck your toes. Engage your glutes. Isometrically drag the hands back and lift the chest forward. Forward and up. And tuck toes under. Downward facing dog. This is our last vinyasa here. I'm stretching the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Left foot plants between the hands. Use your block to underneath your right hand. Out in front of you at this point before you come to balance. I would go high or medium setting, depending on your proportions. And then we're coming up into this supported warrior three. Probably go high setting with the block. Send energy back through the leg. See if you can sense, are my hips level or is my right hip lifting up? Dial it down. Hug your inner thighs toward each other. And then don't disturb the hips. So maybe you don't go as far. That's okay. Rotating, twisting to the left. Maybe then extending through left arm. Parivrtta, Urdhva Chandrasana, revolved half moon. Breath is in the foreground of awareness wherever you are in your practice. Unwind your spine, take your time here. Right leg reaches back to land lightly. Step back to plank pose. Knees could be down here. Elbows draw back as you lower into Chaturanga Dandasana. It's the low end of the push-up. Put the knees down. Straighten the arms. Re-extend the legs. Untuck the toes. Engage the glutes. Drag the hands back as you lift your chest forward and up. Tuck toes under. Downward facing dog. This time, let's walk the hands back to the feet. into Uttanasana. Maybe bend the knees a lot here, let the torso drape, let the head hang. You could circle out the wrists. Switch directions. And then catch the wave of an inhale to rise. Take your time. And bring hands to heart center. Okay, let's take a wide stance. So Prasarita, Padottanasana, revolved. Wide stance. You might want to have your block handy. And you can take it or leave it. Let's fold forward just halfway, so spine is parallel to the floor. Check in with your connection to the earth through your feet. Engage your legs. Chest is open. From here, we're going to twist to the right. So left hand could be on the ground, or if you find you have to round your spine or the floor is far away, you can use a block. Let's start with the right hand on the hip. Hips are staying level, so if you're not using a block under your hand, maybe you put it on your sacrum. And then turn from your spine instead of your hips. Maybe you don't go as far. That's cool. We're drawing the right shoulder back. Maybe stretching the right arm up. Maybe the arm doesn't go as high up when the hips have to stay level. That's okay. Don't force it. Let's bring the gaze down to the ground and draw the shoulder blade, especially that left shoulder blade. Draw it down away from the ear. Unwind your spine, take your time. Right hand down. I like it better beneath the shoulder than beneath the face. I feel like that's just a little more spacious for the chest. Let's bring the left hand to the hip. Keep the hip still and turn through your spine. Ribs are rotating with the spine. Maybe the hand stays on the hip. Maybe the arm stretches up. So the twist is coming from center to periphery. A lot of times people stretch their arm up and they haven't even finished rotating with their center. This is just a bit more stable and integrated. Draw the right shoulder down away from the ear. Unwind your spine. Bring your hands to your hips and rise up. Nice, everybody. Take your time here. We're going to bring feet under frame. And then nothing fancy here for a transition. Just have a seat. Oh, I missed something. Okay. Okay, we're sitting for one more twist here. Ardha Matsyendrasana, I'll mirror you. So place your right foot to the outside of your left knee. And then if you can stay upright and equally grounded, you can maybe tuck this foot in next to the hip. But if it means you end up being wonky or unstable, I would just leave that bottom leg straight. Let's start the twist by walking the right hand behind the back so the shoulder's already going back. And then maybe just wrap the arm around the leg. You could hook, but let's not crank the twist. Let's allow the twist to unfurl and happen from center more than the arms. You don't have to freeze the hips in place here. So this right hip might want to draw back a little bit. Let's leave the head in line with the spine, so nose in line with sternum. Gently unwind. Stretch right leg out in front. Left foot to the outside of the right knee. And then if you can stay upright and it feels good for your body, you can tuck your heel in. But if you end up kind of rounded or lose your grounding through your sitting bones, stay with the bottom leg straight. We'll start by walking this left hand back behind you. See how that already takes the shoulder back? And then you can simply wrap the arm around the leg, maybe hook the elbow. But it's more about finding the rotation from center rather than cranking through with the arms. Head in line with the spine, so nose in line with sternum. Gently unwind your spine. Stretch the leg out in front. Okay, and then from here, make your way to all fours. And let's stretch the legs back to plank. We're not doing vinyasa here, just doing a little more mobility for the hips. So we're in plank, dialing the hands outward, push the floor away, and then soften between the shoulders a little bit. And then from here, see if you can step your right foot up to the outside of the right hand, and then step it back into plank. Same thing here, stepping the left foot forward, maybe behind or to the outside of the left hand, as close as you can get it, and then step it back. Same thing, a couple more times each side, just one leg at a time. And then step one foot forward and the other foot forward, so you come into a squat. And you can lower your sitting bones down and adjust your feet as you need to. And if your body isn't really happy to be in a squat, you could sit on a block or two. Okay, so you're still getting this squatting sensation, this shape, without as much weight bearing. Arms to the inside of the legs. Press the arms into the legs, press the legs into the arms. Chest is broad. So really opening the collarbones away from the sternum, or away from the center of your chest. You can stay right here, or, well, actually, let's all just come out for a moment. So fingertips to the ground. As you lift your sitting bones, dial your feet forward and maybe walk your feet in closer together. This may or may not work for your squat. Maybe you already know, like, nope, going back to the wider feet. That's okay. Otherwise, we're going to lower the sitting bones down. So now we're in more of this closed-legged squat. And if you're back here again, that's totally good. Maybe you can have the feet a tiny bit closer than they were. Maybe you can't. Okay, so now feet are together, maybe, and we're opening the knees apart, and we're stretching the torso forward between the legs. Try not to let the knees open all the way though. Press the inner edges of your feet together and press your legs into your arms or into the sides of your body. Okay, and then from here, lifting up, just taking a little bit of straighter legs in Uttanasana. You can readjust your feet. And then we're coming into Bakasana, maybe, crow pose, or repeating the squat. Squatting is so, so good, not just physically, but for digestion, stuff like that. So if you want to try crow, but you're not sure. What we worked on a couple weeks ago was standing on a block to give a little bit more hip height, a little more height, a little more ease to come in, and or having a block to go under your head. So we broke it down a little bit more a couple weeks ago, but here we are. So feet can be together, knees are a little wider apart or outside the arms. And then we're paying attention to the hands, like we have been, hopefully all the class. So the fingers are spread, we're dialing the hands outward, and then we're lifting the sitting bones. The legs are outside the arms. I'm letting the spine round here. Gaze is between the hands. Drop on the pelvic floor, really hollow the belly. So you can tip forward onto your hands. Maybe nothing leaves the ground. Maybe one foot leaves the ground. Maybe both feet leave the ground. Maybe your heels draw toward the sitting bones. In Bakasana, keep pushing the floor away. And then let's not spend all our energy on that. If you want to try Parshva Bakasana, so you can come back down, circle out the wrists or shake the hands out a little bit. And then we did all kinds of twisting to hopefully make this a little bit more accessible. Okay, so one side's usually easier than the other, just like with everything else. So we're on the feet here, feet are together, knees are together. I'm up off of my heels. And then we're gonna go to the right first. So if you don't want to do the arm balance, we can do a twist here. Your heels could be down, but I think better to be up. You'll be a little bit longer. So left arm up, 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 and then hook the elbow to the outside of the knee. And from here, you can work your twist. You can have the elbow to the inside of the other knee if you can't reach the outer knee, and breathing there. Or we're placing the hands on the ground. So the way I learned it was both arms as a shelf, but the actual pose is just that front arm. Kind of wild. Okay, so then we're shifting forward, sending the chest forward, lifting the feet off the ground. You might have to just play a little bit with the shift forward, shift back. See if you can incorporate all these elements we've worked with, not just the hands, but Moola Bandha. Hollowing the belly, chest moving forward, squeezing the legs together. Try the other side, if and when you're ready. So we're stretching arm up, hooking the elbow to the outside of the knee or to the inner knee. Heels could be on a blanket. Hands at heart center, lifting the chest. This is a good place to stay and work the rotation in your feet, hugging the legs in toward each other, or planting the hands. Spread the fingers, dialing the hands outward. You want to get the legs as high up the arm as you can. Shift forward. This side's a lot harder for me. Haven't done it in a while. Chest is moving forward. Legs are squeezing together. Moola Bandha. That's it. So this shape, I feel like, is a long distance journey for many of us and really unimportant. Doesn't matter at the end of the day if you come into it or not, but hopefully the journey along the way is beneficial. From here, whenever you're ready, we're gonna lie down on our backs again. And just let the body drop for a moment here. We worked hard. So we're back where we began in Shavasana. I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 more finishing poses, but just drop and notice any shifts in your body, in your energy, in your mind, in your breath. And then if you want to grab your block, we can do a supported bridge here. Might be nice. So you can plant your feet. Oh, good, you're back. Plant your feet, lift your hips. Block can go under the sacrum, low, medium, or high setting. Sacrum is below the low back, above the fleshy part of your buttocks. See if you can kind of move the front of your rib cage down, the back of your rib cage up. So down toward your waist, up toward your head. So we kind of lengthen out, walk the spine away from the pelvis. Going to walk the feet a little bit further away from you. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing, feet planted right beneath the knees or legs totally straight. Maybe you just walk the legs a little bit straighter, or you could come onto your heels. Bring your arms up around your head, or if you like to do this candle shape where the legs are vertical, that's another option. Slow, steady breath. Breathing into the side body, breathing into the back of the rib basket. And then, still in supported bridge here, let's plant the feet again, everybody, and bring the block to the lowest setting. Unless you're in a blissful shape, you can stay there a little bit longer. So if you can absorb the bottom of the rib cage toward the back body so it's not flaring out at all. Maybe widen the feet a little wider than the hips. And then one leg stays vertical and the other knee drops in toward the midline. So a little internal rotation here, alternating. You could keep your hands on the bottom of your rib basket to just kind of monitor. A lot of times, the spine wants to do it for the hips. I'm just alternating here a few times. Reach the knee, not just across the midline, but toward the far edge of your mat. Maybe one more time each side. And then once you're back to center, slide the block out from underneath you and articulate through your spine to come down. Stretching out the legs. Feet wider than hips. Or coming into the shape that works for you for Shavasana. Maybe maybe getting a layer back on or an eye pillow. Finding a shape where you can rest effortlessly. coming back into the river of breath. Gently reawakening physical form. If you're ready, moving fingers, moving toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. And then in a slow and gentle way, you can rise up to a seat if you'd like. Let's bring hands, palms together at heart center, bowing our heads with gratitude for all of the blessings and abundance in our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.